The Couva Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor would have completed the construction.
Not only is it a dream come true, but for the Honorable Prime Minister, another sacred promise fulfilled.
Nothing can take away from what this building represents, what this children's hospital represents.
This imposing Couva-based children's hospital is a first for this Twin Island Republic, a legacy deliverable since people first voted in 1925. The vision of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who successfully knotted conviction and political will to realize this state-of-the-art facility that will be a model for regional medical tourism.
This hospital will also be one to attract medical tourism. Yes, it will service our citizens here, but it will also be a light shining throughout the CARICOM.
The delivery of patient care at this hospital also represents comfort and relief to parents with sick kids. Its opening, indeed a moment in history for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, the truism of "my word is my bond" philosophy of the Honorable Prime Minister.
The Couva Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor would have completed the construction.
Not only is it a dream come true, but for the Honorable Prime Minister, another sacred promise fulfilled.
Nothing can take away from what this building represents, what this children's hospital represents.
This imposing Couva-based children's hospital is a first for this Twin Island Republic, a legacy deliverable since people first voted in 1925. The vision of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who successfully knotted conviction and political will to realize this state-of-the-art facility that will be a model for regional medical tourism.
This hospital will also be one to attract medical tourism. Yes, it will service our citizens here, but it will also be a light shining throughout the CARICOM.
The delivery of patient care at this hospital also represents comfort and relief to parents with sick kids. Its opening, indeed a moment in history for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, the truism of "my word is my bond" philosophy of the Honorable Prime Minister.
The Couva Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor would have completed the construction.
Not only is it a dream come true, but for the Honorable Prime Minister, another sacred promise fulfilled.
Nothing can take away from what this building represents, what this children's hospital represents.
This imposing Couva-based children's hospital is a first for this Twin Island Republic, a legacy deliverable since people first voted in 1925. The vision of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who successfully knotted conviction and political will to realize this state-of-the-art facility that will be a model for regional medical tourism.
This hospital will also be one to attract medical tourism. Yes, it will service our citizens here, but it will also be a light shining throughout the CARICOM.
The delivery of patient care at this hospital also represents comfort and relief to parents with sick kids. Its opening, indeed a moment in history for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, the truism of "my word is my bond" philosophy of the Honorable Prime Minister.
The Couva Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor would have completed the construction.
Not only is it a dream come true, but for the Honorable Prime Minister, another sacred promise fulfilled.
Nothing can take away from what this building represents, what this children's hospital represents.
This imposing Couva-based children's hospital is a first for this Twin Island Republic, a legacy deliverable since people first voted in 1925. The vision of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who successfully knotted conviction and political will to realize this state-of-the-art facility that will be a model for regional medical tourism.
This hospital will also be one to attract medical tourism. Yes, it will service our citizens here, but it will also be a light shining throughout the CARICOM.
The delivery of patient care at this hospital also represents comfort and relief to parents with sick kids. Its opening, indeed a moment in history for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, the truism of "my word is my bond" philosophy of the Honorable Prime Minister.
The Couva Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor would have completed the construction.
Not only is it a dream come true, but for the Honorable Prime Minister, another sacred promise fulfilled.
Nothing can take away from what this building represents, what this children's hospital represents.
This imposing Couva-based children's hospital is a first for this Twin Island Republic, a legacy deliverable since people first voted in 1925. The vision of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who successfully knotted conviction and political will to realize this state-of-the-art facility that will be a model for regional medical tourism.
This hospital will also be one to attract medical tourism. Yes, it will service our citizens here, but it will also be a light shining throughout the CARICOM.
The delivery of patient care at this hospital also represents comfort and relief to parents with sick kids. Its opening, indeed a moment in history for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, the truism of "my word is my bond" philosophy of the Honorable Prime Minister.
The Couva Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor would have completed the construction.
Not only is it a dream come true, but for the Honorable Prime Minister, another sacred promise fulfilled.
Nothing can take away from what this building represents, what this children's hospital represents.
This imposing Couva-based children's hospital is a first for this Twin Island Republic, a legacy deliverable since people first voted in 1925. The vision of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who successfully knotted conviction and political will to realize this state-of-the-art facility that will be a model for regional medical tourism.
This hospital will also be one to attract medical tourism. Yes, it will service our citizens here, but it will also be a light shining throughout the CARICOM.
The delivery of patient care at this hospital also represents comfort and relief to parents with sick kids. Its opening, indeed a moment in history for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, the truism of "my word is my bond" philosophy of the Honorable Prime Minister.
The Couva Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor would have completed the construction.
Not only is it a dream come true, but for the Honorable Prime Minister, another sacred promise fulfilled.
Nothing can take away from what this building represents, what this children's hospital represents.
This imposing Couva-based children's hospital is a first for this Twin Island Republic, a legacy deliverable since people first voted in 1925. The vision of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who successfully knotted conviction and political will to realize this state-of-the-art facility that will be a model for regional medical tourism.
This hospital will also be one to attract medical tourism. Yes, it will service our citizens here, but it will also be a light shining throughout the CARICOM.
The delivery of patient care at this hospital also represents comfort and relief to parents with sick kids. Its opening, indeed a moment in history for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, the truism of "my word is my bond" philosophy of the Honorable Prime Minister.
The Couva Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor would have completed the construction.
Not only is it a dream come true, but for the Honorable Prime Minister, another sacred promise fulfilled.
Nothing can take away from what this building represents, what this children's hospital represents.
This imposing Couva-based children's hospital is a first for this Twin Island Republic, a legacy deliverable since people first voted in 1925. The vision of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who successfully knotted conviction and political will to realize this state-of-the-art facility that will be a model for regional medical tourism.
This hospital will also be one to attract medical tourism. Yes, it will service our citizens here, but it will also be a light shining throughout the CARICOM.
The delivery of patient care at this hospital also represents comfort and relief to parents with sick kids. Its opening, indeed a moment in history for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, the truism of "my word is my bond" philosophy of the Honorable Prime Minister.
The Couva Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor would have completed the construction.
Not only is it a dream come true, but for the Honorable Prime Minister, another sacred promise fulfilled.
Nothing can take away from what this building represents, what this children's hospital represents.
This imposing Cuba-based children's hospital is a first for this Twin Island Republic, a legacy deliverable since people first voted in 1925. The vision of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who successfully knotted conviction and political will to realize this state-of-the-art facility that will be a model for regional medical tourism.
This hospital will also be one to attract medical tourism. Yes, it will service our citizens here, but it will also be a light shining throughout the CARICOM.
The delivery of patient care at this hospital also represents comfort and relief to parents with sick kids. Its opening, indeed a moment in history for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, the truism of "my word is my bond" philosophy of the Honorable Prime Minister.
The Cuba Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor would have completed the construction.
Not only is it a dream come true, but for the Honorable Prime Minister, another sacred promise fulfilled.
Nothing can take away from what this building represents, what this children's hospital represents.
This imposing Cuba-based children's hospital is a first for this Twin Island Republic, a legacy deliverable since people first voted in 1925. The vision of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who successfully knotted conviction and political will to realize this state-of-the-art facility that will be a model for regional medical tourism.
This hospital will also be one to attract medical tourism. Yes, it will service our citizens here, but it will also be a light shining throughout the CARICOM.
The delivery of patient care at this hospital also represents comfort and relief to parents with sick kids. Its opening, indeed a moment in history for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, the truism of "my word is my bond" philosophy of the Honorable Prime Minister.
The Cuba Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor would have completed the construction.
Not only is it a dream come true, but for the Honorable Prime Minister, another sacred promise fulfilled.
Nothing can take away from what this building represents, what this children's hospital represents.
This imposing Cuba-based children's hospital is a first for this Twin Island Republic, a legacy deliverable since people first voted in 1925. The vision of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who successfully knotted conviction and political will to realize this state-of-the-art facility that will be a model for regional medical tourism.
This hospital will also be one to attract medical tourism. Yes, it will service our citizens here, but it will also be a light shining throughout the CARICOM.
The delivery of patient care at this hospital also represents comfort and relief to parents with sick kids. Its opening, indeed a moment in history for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, the truism of "My word is my bond" philosophy of the Honorable Prime Minister.
The Couva Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor would have completed the construction.
Not only is it a dream come true, but for the Honorable Prime Minister, another sacred promise fulfilled.
Nothing can take away from what this building represents, what this children's hospital represents.
This imposing Couva-based children's hospital is a first for this Twin Island Republic, a legacy deliverable since people first voted in 1925. The vision of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, who successfully knotted conviction and political will to realize this state-of-the-art facility that will be a model for regional medical tourism.
This hospital will also be one to attract medical tourism. Yes, it will service our citizens here, but it will also be a light shining throughout the CARICOM.
The delivery of patient care at this hospital also represents comfort and relief to parents with sick kids. Its opening, indeed a moment in history for the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, the truism of "My word is my bond" philosophy of the Honorable Prime Minister.
The Couva Hospital is a construction site. The last information I have is that by the end of March, the contractor
.org. The United National Congress Monday Night Forum has rolled into the constituency of Toko Sangre Grande. This afternoon we have the Monday Night Forum, and the featured speaker will be the Honorable Political Leader, Ms. Kamla Prasad Bisesa. For those of you who are viewing us on Facebook, note that Facebook, and we are also today, we are doing 3 broadcasts on 3 frequencies. We are live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and the UNCTT.org site. If for some reason, and in these days of political sabotage, we could get cut from Facebook or YouTube. However, our broadcast goes uninterrupted on UNCTT.org. So for those of you, you can view us on UNCTT.org, but we are also live on Facebook and YouTube. Yes, this afternoon would be a very exciting and power-packed presentation of the United National Congress edition. You know, usually when we go to the various constituencies, like today we are in Toko Sangre Grande, the leader, unlike the PNM, that for the entire, I had the ordeal. You know, in broadcasting, you must watch the enemy. I had the ordeal of watching the last PNM meeting from Chagonas, and all they could have done was blame Kamla, blame the UNC. Every single problem is blame the UNC, and not once in that meeting had the PNM put forward, unlike our meetings. And I look forward to coming to these meetings because our political leader always talks about what she will do to improve the country. And what I like is when she goes into a constituency, she will talk about specific improvements for the constituency. So like when we went Mayaro, she would talk about the blue economy and what she's going to do with the highway to Mayaro and the river swamp. Of course, you're going to hear what her plans would be for the Toko Sangre Grande. This afternoon, we have a slightly different format. In that the speakers I want to introduce the speakers, and I have someone assisting me with that this evening here. We have a young attorney, Miss. Yes.
Good
So
afternoon.
welcome, viewers, Miss
Sharice Kisoon,
Kisoon, a young attorney, a UNC activist,
attorney student.
attorney student. Yes, I made that mistake last time.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to be doing some interviews with some of the speakers.
Yes,
Right.
I am.
All right. So you have your speakers organized. Your.
Yes, I do. I have my speakers organized. They're
All right, so
standing
you're-
right alongside me.
Okay. Well, you take it away from here and go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Archie. Again, to just introduce myself, I am Sharice Kisoon. I am from the constituency of La Hoqueta Talparo. Welcome to the Monday Night Forum. Welcome to the live stream. We are here in Northeastern College, Sangre Grande, for the UNC Monday Night Forum. Our first interviewee is going to be Mr. Joseph Tony, who is the coordinator for the Toko Sangre Grande constituency. Good night, Mr. Tony.
Good evening, good evening.
How are you feeling about this program tonight?
Well, it's shaping up to be quite exciting. The constituents are streaming in slowly but surely, steadily, and we hope to have a packed audience here tonight to listen to what we have to say, and of course to meet and greet with our dear political leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar.
Okay, great. So, sounds like you have a very packed program here for us tonight. But tell us a little bit about what is going on in the constituency of Toko Sangre Grande.
Well, to prepare for this event, we had several walkabouts in all the various villages in and around Sangre Grande. We met and greet with, I would say, thousands of constituents. We invited them, and I see that they are responding to our requests. I see them coming in all the time, busloads of them, and I do hope that when they come here tonight, we can explain to them what the UNC is about, what the UNC is planning to do for Trinidad and Tobago when we return to government, and hopefully what we can expect of them in the coming months in the local government election campaign and in the general election campaign.
Okay, great. Based on your walkabouts and your meet and greet with the constituents of the Toko Sangre Grande constituency, what are some of the issues that the Toko Sangre Grande area is facing?
Well, there is tremendous poverty. I think squatters in general want to know that a caring government under the UNC will take care of them and not break down their houses. There is a sense that there's a lot of unemployment amongst the young people, and we are hoping that with a UNC government, we can attack these matters forcefully, humanely, and with a caring hand, so that we can not really get rid of poverty, but alleviate it. We can help the young people to get sustainable jobs somewhere in the constituency, and that, of course, we can treat with those who are homeless, who cannot afford to buy a parcel of land, in a humane fashion. You know, when we walk around, the constituents always tell us that they love Kamala because Kamala has a heart, you know, and she has demonstrated over the years that she has a heart, that she cares for children, that she cares for young people, and she really wants to see rural communities develop and become better.
Right. So Mr. Tony has basically said that under the People's Partnership, under the United National Congress, we would see creation of jobs, we would see creation of housing for the young people. Tell us what else you think the United National Congress might be able to do for the people in the Toko Sangre Grande region, for the young people in particular.
Well, the young people, they need hope. They need a clear vision as to where this country is going, and they need to have themselves focused. in the past, they have been left on their own, and that is not good. We need, as a government, to have them focused on matters and on jobs, on issues that will take not only the country and the district forward, but will take they themselves forward in their personal lives.
Right, because the young people, they are the future generation. They are the future of tomorrow. Mr. Tony, it was such a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much. We look forward to hearing you speak tonight.
Pleasure also.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that was Mr. Joseph Tony, the coordinator for Toko Sangre Grande. And joining me, I have 3 young, vibrant, dynamic, ambitious women that are all facing the issues that we are prayed with as a country in Trinidad and Tobago. So here we have Nyamka Batiste.
Hi, good night.
Good night, Nyamka. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How old are you? What do you do?
Okay, so my name is Nyamka Batiste. I'm a 25-year-old mechanical engineering graduate, and I come from the village of Brazil, in the constituency of Lakota Talparo.
Okay, Ms. Batiste, can you tell us what message would you like the audience to take away from your speech tonight? I understand that you would be speaking on the platform.
Yes, I will be addressing the situation of unemployment and the lack of job opportunities for the young persons out there, because I myself is unemployed, right? So that is what my presentation will focus on, and calling the youths to get involved, to go and register, to be more involved in changing the dynamics of the country for themselves.
Right, because only when the youth can come together and make that change, then we can see a real change in the country.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so tell us what changes you would like to see throughout the country, Nyamka.
First, I would like to see the increase in economic activity. Right now, we are very stagnant in terms of that. And, the people are the country's greatest resource, right? And the government are not utilizing that, and we feel neglected. Right, so I would like to see, more economic change and an increase in jobs available for, individuals and stuff like that.
Right, so Nyamka would like to see some increase in economic activity as well as creation of jobs. I am sure under the United National Congress, our political leader has a plan for the creation of new jobs and for an increased economic activity. Thank you so much for speaking with us, Nyamka. We have the young, dynamic Nyamka Batiste. Here we have Miss Janessa Campbell. Good night, Miss Janessa.
Hello, good night.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your age, where you're from?
Well, I'm 20 years old and I come from the constituency of Mayaro.
Okay. Can you tell us what do you do,
Well, I'm a student, but I haven't exactly started tertiary level education as yet. And, well, you'll hear the entire story later on tonight on stage.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So from your speech tonight, because as you mentioned, you will be speaking on the platform tonight, what would you like the audience to take away?
Well, my ultimate goal would be to let those who are listening know that the current administration has not been operating efficiently and not in the best interest of the general public. So tonight is kind of I wish to convey that to them.
Okay, so Ms. Campbell would like the audience to know that this current administration has not been performing effectively and efficiently, and she would like to highlight those issues tonight. Is there anything else you would like to address or let the public know tonight?
Not exactly. Not at this time.
Okay,
no.
thank you
Okay,
so much.
thank
We
you.
look forward to seeing your speech,
No
Ms.
problem.
Campbell.
Thank you.
And our third interviewee is Miss Roshana Lachman. She's a young mechanical engineer. Roshana, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good night, everyone. My name is Roshana Lachman. I am a recent UTT graduate. I graduated with a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. I'm very adventurous.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
Okay, you're 22 years old. And are you working as a mechanical engineer now?
Not at the moment. I would hope to.
Okay, so we have graduates. They are young. They have graduated as mechanical engineers, lawyers, you name it. And it is difficult for them to find jobs. It's difficult for them to find jobs in the field in which they have studied for. So Reshana, can you tell us what you would like the audience to take away from your message tonight?
Sure, no problem. So the People's Partnership has invested heavily on human capital between 2010 and 2015. And unfortunately, this may be lost due to a lack of job opportunities. So in order for this not to happen, well, currently there is a possibility that we will not be able to cut this until we vote for the People's Partnership. So this can be a huge result of brain drain, which is where professionals are being forced to seek employment abroad. And my speech also entails a little bit of the problems faced by everyone at every educational level. So basically at school.
So Reshana is saying to us that yes, there are people that are getting their education, but if there are no jobs, what are they going to do? They are going to have to find alternative options, and they're going to probably have to look at options internationally and regionally. And this is going to result in brain drain within our country. And that is going to be a real issue because our human capital would just be leaving our country, and then we're going to end up with less human resources here locally. So can you suggest to the people, how can, in your opinion, how can economic activity be increased?
Well, as the People's Partnership had done before, investing in humans and making full use of our human resource is one of the most important ways in achieving this goal. If you don't develop the humans, then how is the economy going to develop? Because we are the people, we are the future. So we need to be the ones to create this development, and there needs to be avenues for us.
Okay, thank you so much. We have the young mechanical engineer, Ms. Reshana Lachman. And she reiterated on the point of developing our human capital. But developing our human capital is just one aspect. But when we develop our human capital, we also need to create economic activity so that we can generate new jobs. We need to diversify the economy. We need to move away from the non-energy sector or invest in sectors such as agriculture, maritime, the arts, sports, and you name it. We are coming to you live from Northeastern College. We are here for the United National Congress Monday Night Forum. Shortly, we would have gracing us tonight on the stage the political leader, the Honorable Mrs. Prasad Kamala Prasad Bisasa. We would have the coordinator for the Toko Sangre Grande, coordinator for the Toko Sangre Grande constituency, Mr. Joseph Tony. We're going to have the councillor for the electoral district of Vega de Oropuch, Councillor Anil Jutiram, and we're going to have a wide array of young, dynamic, ambitious professionals that are being faced with numerous amounts of issues in the country. They are going to be talking about those issues, and our leader is going to come on and speak to us about how she has a plan to address those said issues. Okay, so joining us here now, we have Mr. William Archie.
Yes, thank you very much, Ms. Cherise Kisoon. Folks out there, I'm sure you found her to be very good. This is her first time. She hadn't even gotten prepped. She just came, put on the microphone, and did her interviews. Yes, so you got a little hint of some of the speakers. Of course, the main and major speaker is the political. Tonight promises to be hot. As you know, I have heard news today that, you are as a practicing attorney. Student. Anand winning his case. That is a big thing.
Yes. I mean, it's a success that we celebrate as a country, as a party.
Yes. So, and to me, these things is a little sub judice, so we don't want to talk too much about it. But tonight, if whatever could be spoken about it, tune in, come in live to the UNC live stream, and take in all the action, right? The few speakers that you had introduced, that's just a little tease We have Anil Jutaram and
We have
the
Councillor
councillor.
Anil Jutaram. He's the councillor for Vega de Orupuch. We have the coordinator for the Toko Sangre Grande that had joined us here, Mr. Joseph Tony. We have
Ladies
Mr.
and gentlemen,
David
please
John.
be seated.
Would Ryan be
The
speaking
Monday
tonight?
Night Forum
Ryan wouldn't be speaking
is
tonight.
about
Oh,
to
okay.
begin.
Yes. So
Please do-
we're about to go stateside very soon. Now, when I was introducing the live stream, I was talking about the projects that the political leader outlined for the specific constituency. Now, coming from South, when I am coming up here to Sangre Grande, long time I had to leave 3 and 4 and 5 hours in order to reach here on time. I came up here via something called the Valencia bypass, right? That cuts out about a couple hours of traffic. You from this area?
No, I am from Caparo. That is from the constituency of La Hoqueta Talparo.
Yes. Now, the PNM talks about projects. They talk about it. The UNC delivers. I just want to, Director, do you have the Valencia video? Yeah. Could you just bring it up so our viewers could see tangible?
Motorists attempting to access Sangre Grande, Arima, Valencia, the Eastern Main Road and Antigua Road from the Churchill Roosevelt Highway are asked to do as follows. Proceed north onto Antigua Road from the Churchill Roosevelt Highway. Upon reaching the Barbuda extension, motorists are asked to turn right. When on Barbuda Road, motorists are asked to proceed in an easterly direction until they encounter the first roundabout. While approaching the roundabout, motorists are asked to proceed with caution and give way to traffic on the right. Having entered the roundabout, they are to take the second exit and continue east onto the Valencia bypass. Along this road, motorists will cross the first bridge, B1-in-1, and enter into the KP Lands village. While proceeding east through the KP Lands village, motorists would encounter a second bridge, B1-in-2, and after crossing this would have entered into Kangali village. Motorists would then pass a fence to the right. This is the demarcation of the Aripo Savanna, an environmentally sensitive area. Having passed this, motorists would now approach the second roundabout, again asked to proceed with caution and give way to traffic on the right. Having entered the roundabout, motorists are to take the second exit and proceed south to Sangre Grande. The first exit would take them north to Valencia. For those attempting to access the Eastern Main Road via Antigua Road, they are to proceed north, passing the Barbuda extension. At this time, Antigua Road becomes one-way north. Motorists are to proceed with caution and approach the intersection. Upon reaching the intersection, motorists can either turn left into Arima or right and proceed toward Valencia. For motorists attempting to access Sangre Grande via the Eastern Main Road, they are to continue heading east from Arima, and to access the Valencia bypass,
Remain standing. We'll now have our prayer by Miss Friday.
Can we please all be quiet as we reverence God? Father and God, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for this day which you have made. Father, we thank you for every person here this evening. God, you know the purpose why we are gathered here this evening. God, Father, I ask you, as the deliberations go through this evening, as our political leader speak to us, not only our political leader, Father, but our upcoming Prime Minister, as she speaks to us, God, Father, and as we listen to other speakers, I ask you, oh God, Father, to infiltrate this place. Father, I thank you for all the persons that came here this evening. I thank you for those who are on their way. I thank you for all of them reaching back to their homes safely this evening, God, Father. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that things are going to go well. Father, I cannot forget the bloodshed in this country right now, oh God, Father. God, Father, step in. It is too much. The blood is crying out in the land, oh God, Father. Father, have your way and come to Trinidad and Tobago, God, Father, as we in this constituency represent Trinidad and Tobago. I ask you, oh God, Father, to have your way in this place. And I make this prayer in the Savior's name. Amen.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Friday. And we want to thank the young folks who played the national anthem for us. Everyone who is on the outside of the auditorium, please come inside. We are about to begin the Monday Night Forum. The audio, please, for our video. Thank you very much.
Well, hello to all the to all the UNC live stream, all the members of the UNC, and everybody who is looking, all the viewers, the UNC. We are up here at Northeastern College, the Monday Night Forum, UNC Monday Night Forum. Of course, we know it's going to be explosive as it has always been, you know. And we just look forward to, you know, hearing from the various speakers, and especially our honorable political leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bisesa. So stay tuned.
There will be no coalition. We are UNC and we are proud. There is one party, there is one leader, and there will be one government, the government of the UNC.
Live from the constituency of Toko Sangre Grande, this is a special edition of the United National Congress Monday Night Forum and the One Corridor, One Vision platform.
Bring down the power, now is the time. Bring down the power, now is the time. Bring down the power of the UNC.
To find a solution to this pollution, yeah. Got to find a solution to this pollution. Oh, gotta find a solution to this pollution.
Live from the constituency of Toko Sangre Grande, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Constituency Chairman David John.
TDM 863, please move your vehicle. TDM 863, can you move your vehicle, please? Thank you very much.
Good night, UNC Massive. Good night, Toko Sangre Grande. It's a pleasure to be here in this massive Monday Night Forum. Our political leader and next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Bisesa, other parliamentarians, senators, councillors, and aldermen, the media, our hard-working police officers, and all our UNC supporters, a pleasant good night. Tonight, I can say clearly now, not that the rain has gone, but that the sun is about to rise in Toko Sangre Grande again. The election bell is about to ring. Toko Sangre Grande, are we ready? UNC Massive, are we ready? Okay, the UNC is again offering to the people of Toko Sangre Grande the much needed development of this region of our Twin Islands. The UNC was able to accomplish in Toko Sangre Grande in 5 short years what the PNM was not able to do in their 40 odd years in government. If you think what I'm saying is a joke, then tell me, 10 major developments done by the PNM in 40 years of being in government in Toko Sangre Grande. Just 10. And if you think that was bad, Rowley came to Valencia Primary Government School and tell the people on May 26, 2015, that if they put the PNM back in government, they will build a port from Toko to Scarborough. When Sadiq Bash was Minister of Works in 1999, the PNM encouraged their supporters to resist and reject the very said proposal. Now they are coming to tell the Toko people to accept the same. The PNM is like a proverbial dog, always licking up its vomit. In the PNM 1961 manifesto, they promised to link Matlock with Blanchiselles. 59 years has gone, and the people is still the same. Typical PNM, promises never materialize. They also tell the people they will build a new road to Toko. He think he talking to the people of Diego Martin West. Anybody who is acquainted with the terrain will know that any new road that have to be built must be built north of the existing road. And that is impossible at this time, because north of the existing road are houses, deep valleys, and high mountains. What about the North Oropouche water catchment? Will he destroy that? What about the scenic Matura River with the mermaid pool? Will he also get rid of our ecotourism? The EMA will not give a CEC for such a foolish concept. So to mamagai the people for this election, they start to widen the road, a project I am sure will not be completed. So brothers and sisters, I want to end by telling you what the partnership government was able to accomplish in 5 short years in Toko Sangre Grande. When I mention every project, I want you to shout performance. I want you to shout it out so that it can reverberate in San Fernando West for Alwari to hear. I want you to shout it out so that it can echo in Diego Martin for Rowley to hear. I want you to shout it out hard so that it can shake the hills of Belmont so that Stuart Young could hear. And I want you to shout it out so it could rustle through the trees of Maraval, but I'm not too sure if the midget will hear. But you have to shout it out. So 1, a bridge in Matlock to cross to the school. 2, the refurbishment of the Matlock fishing depot. 3, the removal of the hanging wall in Matlock. 4, the paving of the road from Matlock to Grand River. 5, the construction of 7 miles of box train from Matlock to Grand River. 6, the construction of a brand new fishing depot in Grand River. 7, the refurbishment of the Kishon Walcott Lighthouse in Toko. 8, the refurbishment of the Kumana Community Center and the establishment of the only ICT center in this region. 9, the refurbishment of the Balandra Fishing Depot. 10, the lighting of the Lawrence Wood Recreation Ground in Balandra. 11, the construction of the Matura Wall. 12, the commissioning of the Matura water treatment plant. 13, the dueling of the bridge by Ice Cream Corner in Matura. 14, the establishment of Costard in Sangre Grande. 15, the construction of the Valencia bypass. 16, the construction of the 2-lane bridge on the Old Toko Road, Valencia. 17, the paving of the Old Toko Road from the Valencia Junction to Kumaka Road. 18, the lighting of the Ojo Road Recreation Ground. 19, the lighting of the Damri Hill Recreation Ground. 20, the construction of the modern indoor sporting complex on the Ojo Road. 21, the establishment of the visitor center in Valencia, and on and on and on. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Rowley, you and your party are squatting in Toko Sangre Grande, but without a deed of comfort. So come elections, we will make it our duty to see that you and your party experience demolition. You have to go. Sangre Grande, Toko Sangre Grande say you have to go. Trinbago say, Rowley, you have to go. Brothers and sisters, a pleasant good night. And there is an announcement, TBN 1582, TBK 1811 needs vehicles removed as soon as possible. Thank you.
Honorable political leader of our great party, Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, party chairman, deputy political leaders, other NATEX members, members sitting on the stage, on the tables, MPs, senators, mayors, chairmen, councillors, aldermen, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, members of the protective services, a pleasant good night. As a local government representative, we are being starved by central government for funding, thereby preventing us from delivering basic infrastructural improvements and maintenance in our region. Example, no money to pave roads, no money for patching of roads, no money for box drains or pavements, even no money to assist in jogging tracks in our recreation grounds. Imagine at a time like this, we have no funding in this dry season for water trucks and to pay overtime on weekends and public holidays. We get no funding for a complete month to pay our caretakers to look after our recreation grounds. It's now 5 days per fortnight. That's what the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation can afford. No money is allocated to repair our corporation vehicles, which are part of our major assets. No help in times of disaster. We have no help from ODPM or other state agencies when it's time for flooding and so on. Our developmental projects, what we call DP, for the fiscal year 2017-2018 were given to us 11 months late, with just 2 weeks before the financial year closed. Within 2 weeks, we had to tender and award jobs. In this way, the money would not have returned to the Ministry of Finance. This would not have taken place if we did not have a joint press conference with our chairman, mayors, and minority leaders one fateful Sunday morning with our deputy political leader, Ms. Khadija Amin, at the office of the Leader of Opposition in Port of Spain. Poor people, middle-class people, mothers of children with cerebral palsy and physically challenged children, single mothers, have been thrown under the bus by trying to live with the introduction of 12.5% VAT on over 7,000 basic food items that were previously zero-rated under Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Our pockets have felt the rot of approximately 100% increase in diesel and gas. Grants and food cards have all been taken from those deserving of it to be given back to their supporters and potential voters around election time. Total lack of care and compassion. This administration has forgotten about the Ministry of Local Government. They treat this ministry like a bastard child. Vanity projects are all they are concerned about. The highway from Valencia to Toko with a port costs $1.6 billion. The highway from Wallerfield to Manzalina, first phase, costs $400 million, and 2 other phases, when complete, would have cost over $1 billion. Instead of investing in unnecessary highway projects at these hard, challenging times, I suggest we invest the money in trying to rehabilitate existing roads and agricultural access roads. And also invest in wind turbines and solar panel glass for all new government buildings as a source of renewable energy. This government has ostracized the Ministry of Works in Sangre Grande, and for some strange reason, focus only on NITCO, Pure, and URP in Port of Spain. I wonder if the reason behind this is to micromanage the funds behind closed door to prevent transparency from the public. Imagine the Ministry of Works in Sangre Grande has over 20 vehicles parked in their compound with no money to repair them. They have no backhoe, and this region is 4 times the size of Tobago, and the Ministry of Works compound in Sangre Grande have not even 1 backhoe. They have 2 dump trucks, and this is yet to be licensed for this year. Community centers around us are being abandoned and left to rot. Our schools in our region have no money to maintain their playground, and councillors are being asked to pick up the slack. In our policies, in our police in the Eastern Division headquarters, several department phone lines are down because of lack of payment. There are no proper working fax machines, no basic stationery for the officers, no ribbon for printers. Even after 18 years, the Matters police station is housed in a container. I recommend immediately the reintroduction of the police marine branch to help secure our borders from Matla to Mayaru. We need to diversify the region to curb the high unemployment rate. I recommend sport tourism, medical tourism, sea and sand tourism, nature trails, agriculture, and increased empowerment of the Predial Lassini squad. We need to assist the homeless people and house them in a more humane place so they can adequately live their lives and improve their lives in comfort. Ladies and gentlemen, for the sake of our future generations, our country, Trinidad and Tobago, let us all come together and unite to take our country back to a place of safety, sanctity, once more under the compassionate, caring, strong, stern leadership of Ms. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. I thank you very much.
From the constituency of Toko Sangre Grande, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Janessa Campbell, Rishana Lachman, and Nayanka Batiste.
The poor man of me, the poor man of me.
With the driver PCB 82, please move your vehicle. PCB 82, PCB 82. Can you remove your vehicle urgently? PCB 82.
A pleasant good night to the honorable MPs, my MP, Mr. Pare, councillors, esteemed guests, and a special good night to our honorable political leader, the great Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. I would like to initially express my sincerest gratitude to being afforded this opportunity. It has always been a long-term aspiration of mine to appear on a political forum in the presence of TNT's greatest Prime Minister. Mrs. Kamala has undoubtedly paved the road for women and men alike with political ambitions, and being a young woman myself, saw it fitting to take example. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa has opened the door and welcomed individuals of any race, religion, age, and gender. A true leader who has encouraged and emboldened the younger generation, which I myself represent. This serves as the strong, substantial, solid foundation of our UNC family. I absolutely cannot say the same about the People's National Movement. Whatever foundation they think they have is non-existent. Their feeble structure is filled with hollow, baseless promises, fraudulency, and the highest levels of political corruption. I boldly come forward and say this, as they too have wormed their way in and negatively affect my personal life. Although residing in Mayaro, I attained my secondary school level education at Naprima Girls High School, and every day for 7 years, waking up at 4:30, my sister and I made the 2-hour commute. So having to make this extra effort and experiencing the level of sacrifice my mother expended, we developed the mindset to push ourselves further. This is where I both had the desire to attend university abroad and make myself a beneficial asset to my home country. I graduated in 2017 with an additional scholarship in the subjects that was supposed to prepare me for the career path that I intended to pursue. What I was not prepared for was the failure of the current administration and their subsequent impact on my aspirations. Although meeting the necessary requirements, the wrong scholarship was allocated, which hindered my plan and led me to be dependent on personal finances. So having a single mother and an older sister with even greater ambitions, it became necessary that I take a back seat and postpone further studies. So my response was to take up the initiative and constructively occupy my time while still being here. This resulted in a 2-year wait in which I hoped things would turn around eventually. I was wrong. The environment established under this current PNM governance has been unfavorable and discouraging in all aspects. The economic atmosphere has not been conducive to flourishing businesses, including my mother's personal business, which suffered. Contracts were terminated, dissolved, rejected, and during my time home, several job applications were sent out and none were received with good standing. We've heard in numerous accounts of university graduates who are sitting home with their degrees and no jobs. I don't even need to expand on the myriad of jobs that existed prior to the coming of this government that are no more today. The magnitude of lost contracts and companies closing down, it is almost as if Dr. Rowley wants Trinidad to be the next Venezuela. And being citizens of TNT and living in this time, I don't need to tell you how hard it is to live under this stifling regime. We all know it is a struggle. Overall, the ruling of the current government has had a dampening effect on TNT. Now, we gathered here tonight, and I know you will support me when I state that had our political leader been in power, this would have never been the circumstances. The plethora of contributions she has made, if I attempt to even give an account, we will be here long after Dr. Rowley comes out of office. All the highway infrastructures, bridges, paved roads that the United National Congress is responsible for and what we have continued to do. Nobody can stand here and convince me otherwise. we're blatantly seeing the immeasurable difference between the leadership and ultimately the parties. But as a young lady growing up in this country, I know that this is not the way I see us going forward, and that is why I stand here on this stage. We are all here because we believe in her, we believe in the party, and we all know that soon enough she will be in power again and the downfall of Trinidad and Tobago will be no more. Thank you.
Honorable political leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Visesa, and all other UNC family. Good night, brothers and sisters. I am Rishana Lachman. I am a 22-year-old engineer who is not employed in my field. As youths, we need an efficient education system in order to grow and develop so that we can contribute to our country. Since the current regime has assumed power, our education system has been in steep decline. Parents, tell me, how many of you cannot pay to get your child into a preschool due to unfair competition? With the essay examination gone in April, how many of you grown adults can actually finish that mathematics paper in 75 minutes and score high marks? I am a private tutor. I know the struggle the students faced. There was a change in the syllabus without adequate time to prepare. There are only 11 and 12-year-olds. Even the CSEC grades are declining and nothing is being done to address it. Everything is declining except the unemployment rate and inflation. Minus 4,000 lunches from the school feeding program to come soon. The textbook rental program costs $225 million, and the provision of laptops costs $250 million for the 5 years between 2010 and 2015. These programs were adjusted, and the current Minister of Education says that they will save $30 million from laptops and $119 million saved from textbooks. How is this saving now being used to develop the education system? Why were our homework centers closed down? A completed activity center in the community of Todd Road has been closed to the public for the past 4 years. The children of Todd Road have been denied the use of this public building because of mere politicking. A new coat of red paint replaced the previously beautiful yellow, and the building only opened last week. Do you know why? Because elections are around the corner. Laptops with internet access are essential for secondary school students now, and not every parent can afford one. These unfortunate students will now be at a disadvantage. And in the aftermath of CXC, many students are confused as to where to go next. CAPE, certificate program, diploma, OJT, there's just no advice, no hope. So you aspire to become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, and you have to pay for it because of issues with the GATE program. What would happen to those who suffer from poverty and are unable to afford it? Aside from payments, the modifications of the GATE program limit students from accessing their desired fields. So some, like myself, have made it. We are now graduates. Even our graduates feel frustrated out there searching for months and years for a job in their field with no silver lining. I always dreamt of working for Petrotrin as an engineer. We were told to be good boys and girls and study hard, pass our exams, and once we do this, we are assured a bright future in Trinidad and Tobago. In this regard, I dedicated my entire school life to achieving this goal and look forward to serving my country in this capacity. I did my part. However, the president government didn't do their part. They shut down Petrotrin and killed my dreams. Petrotrin belongs to the citizens, not the government. We have all applied to company after company, but no hope. Companies are not hiring, they are firing. The industrial and technical sectors are not expanding, they are contracting. As days go by, there are less engineering jobs available. Professionals are being forced to settle for menial jobs. So parents and my dearly beloved youths, take my advice. Do not give up. There will be an opportunity for everyone when the time is right. Do not get confused and fall for the election distractions by the current administration. Don't be fooled by the current overheated rhetoric blame game. We need jobs. We want a better education system. We are voting for jobs and a better TNT. I thank you.
Honorable political leader, Ms. Kamala Prasad-Bisasa, and all other UNC family. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I am Nayamka Batiste, a 25-year-old unemployed engineer. Now, permit me to take you on a journey of a little girl about to do SCA. With the only desire to make her mother proud, she valued the need for intensive study. Learning how to sacrifice from young, she gave up her playtime for lessons, studied hard, and eventually passed for her first choice school. There, she excelled academically at every form level, and at the end, she crossed the graduation stage proudly, having attained all of her passes. Determined to make herself into somebody, she followed the plan she created and continued on to A-levels, then to University of the West Indies, graduating with her degree in mechanical engineering. She is now eager to join the world of work, but she finds the world around her in a mess. Parents and relatives are being sent home with no means to provide for their family, and the government, charged with creating opportunities for young persons like her, is cutting jobs instead of creating them. You see, from the time I was a little girl, I succeeded at primary school, secondary school, and then to university. Why? Because it was also my dream to work at Petrotrin, and today I am an engineer. But there is no Petrotrin. I kept the faith, but the government did not keep the faith with me. Today there is no Petrotrin for me to work in. Even if I was thinking of going to Atlantic LNG Train 1, I can't, because their future is uncertain. The rate at which this Minister of Finance is going, very soon he might take away BP2. Today, we have a drastic amount of young adults with tertiary exposure, both at graduate and undergraduate level, who are in need of meaningful employment and good opportunities to use their talents and abilities. But what is being done for us? Nothing. After we put in the work, the late nights, long hours, and tears, what is being done for us by this current administration? What is the government doing to increase economic activity and economic opportunities in our country? Nothing. My peers and classmates who I have graduated with are either at home or not working in their field. We have engineers and other professionals doing labor work, working as sales clerks or at menial jobs, a waste of good talent. Then there are those on 3- and 6-month contracts. How are they to effectively start meaningful and fulfilling life or acquire lifelong assets if they are unsure of what will happen 1 year down the road? According to the Central Statistical Office, in 2014, under the People's Partnership Government, the unemployment rate was at a record low of 3.1%. The last CSO report in 2017 indicated an increase to 4.4%, and that was after 2 years of this current administration terms in office. Since then, they have sent home approximately 55,000 more people. The unemployment rate is alarmingly increasing, and nothing is being done by this current government to address the situation. They are just sending more and more people home. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. Janessa and Roshana and I may have come on different ships, but tonight we stand in the same boat. The boat of hopelessness, the boat of neglect, the boat of no opportunities, the boat of joblessness. I want to ask every young jobless graduate to show me your voting finger. To the voters to whom the gate is closed, show me your voting finger. I say to every young person without hope, show me your voting finger. We must vote for hope. My young friends, this is not a matter for only the Honorable Kamala Prasad and her government. This is a matter for every single one of us. Let's take a stand. Go and register yourself to vote. Give yourself a chance and give yourself an opportunity. The Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisasa has committed to creating 50,000 more jobs, just like she did in 2010 to 2015. But we the youths have to do our part. We have to ensure that she gets that opportunity to be the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium Mr. Joseph Tony.
From the constituency of Sangre, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joseph Tony.
My dear colleagues at the head table, members of parliament, senators, Senator Mahabir, congratulations and welcome to Toko Sangre Grande, my brother. Mayors, councillors, aldermen, loyal and faithful activists of the United National Congress, all of the listening and viewing public, the media, ladies and gentlemen, good night. I had many matters to talk about tonight in Toko Sangre Grande, but I chose one topic because I feel it is the most important topic to my mind, and that is the topic that I've chosen: how the Rowley PNM cabinet has transformed itself into the new Central Tenders Board. I raise that topic, brothers and sisters, because the PNM has a history of preaching good governance, anti-corruption measures, morality in public affairs. But I shall try to demonstrate to you this evening, by their conduct, especially in the matters of procurement, where their conduct has fallen short by far. We start, brothers and sisters, with their manifesto, page 44. Page 44 of their manifesto, if you want to go and check it, hear what they have to say about procurement. They started off with the usual blah, 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 UNC this, Kamla that, that's the other. Then they said, the PNM will waste no time in addressing this very important issue. That is the issue of public procurement. They will consult with all the stakeholders and implement a realistic timetable for the full implementation of the Public Procurement Act. This was in September 2015. Listen what the Express had to say, the Express newspaper in an editorial had to say in January 2019. They were criticizing the government and telling Minister Imbe to get cracking on the business of public procurement regulations. Because as far as they knew, that's the Express, the regulator, Munila Lutchman, had sent these regulations to Minister Imbe since December 2018. And all Minister Imbe had to do was to take these regulations to Parliament to activate the legislation. Minister Imbe promised to do that by March of this year. Today we are in May, no movement whatsoever. But brothers and sisters, let me tell you, that wasn't something that was done unconsciously. That wasn't something that he asked. My submission here to you tonight is that it is an orchestrated plot on the part of the Rowley cabinet to avoid accountability and public scrutiny. I want to go to the port. I spent a little time at the port. I want to go to the port. You remember the Superfast Galicia? The Superfast Galicia was working well. Nobody had a problem with it. Out of the blue, the Rowley cabinet said, we don't want the Superfast Galicia anymore. We want a new boat. So Good Friday 2017, they got rid of the Superfast Galicia. Nothing to put in place, they hired, the cabinet, a barge, the Trinity Transporter barge. And hear what they had to say about the Trinity Transporter barge. A barge, put it on the high sea, put your goods on it, sea, throwing up all the seawater on it, destroying your goods. They say it was nothing short of a fiasco. This is the stakeholders of the Inter-Island Sea Bridge. A disgrace and a backward step for the transportation of cargo between Trinidad and Tobago. The Trinity Transporter barge. And so, the Trinity Transporter barge was transported away. But they didn't stop there. They went and they got the Cabo Star and the Ocean Flower. This is the cabinet of this country. And hear what Dr. Rowley had to say in August 2017 in an interview with an investigative reporter at the Magdalena Hotel about the oceans, the Cabo Star and the Ocean Flower too. He said he was convinced that something crooked may have gone down with the procurement process for the Cabo Star and the Ocean Flower 2 vessels. This is the Prime Minister speaking. And what did he do about it? Zilch. Nothing. He's saying that it's a crooked deal, yet he did nothing about it. Did he call in the Minister of National Security, the Attorney General, say, fellas, this thing looking crooked, get cracking on it, find out who is behind it? No! Nothing was done. But they didn't stop there. They didn't stop there, brothers and sisters. They went to the cabinet and they said, we want to get a new boat still. And they appointed a cabinet subcommittee to go and buy the galleon's passage. No procurement, no tendering, no competitive bidding, no evaluation of bids, nothing of the sort. $140 million, your tax dollars, to buy the galleon's passage. But that is not all. When the galleon's passage was found to be unsuitable for the inter-island sea bridge, they say, you know what Mr. Imbe said? We buy that so that when we build the port in Toko, we will use the galleon's passage to travel between Toko and Scarborough. You ever hear such noticiousness in your life? Let me tell you something about the Toko port. I'm not talking about the Toko port tonight. Another night we will talk about that. Nobody knows when construction on the Toko port will start. Nobody knows when it will finish. Nobody knows the cost of the Toko port. But that is not all, brothers and sisters. They were not satisfied with that. They went to Australia, the Prime Minister and his sidekick Minister of Everything, Stuart Young. And they wined them and they dined them in Australia. And then they took them to some shipyards. And the Prime Minister, as though he buying shoes or he buying bread, said, listen, I'm going to take 2 fast ferry vessels and I'm going to take 2 naval vessels for the Coast Guard. You ever see people buying boats, sir? No specifications, no consultation with the Coast Guard. $500 million US. Just so. Just like that. Take up our monies and say he's buying these boats. And that is not all. That is not all. They're still not satisfied. Recently, they went to Malta to hire another ferry. The Jean de la Valette. Those of you who are good in French, I don't know what that means. Another boat at the rate of $271,014 per day. So in the space of 2 years, brothers and sisters, here in Toko Sangre Grande, in the space of 2 years, 2017 to 2019, by my calculations, this government has leased or bought 6 boats and 1 barge. Okay. Brothers and sisters, I am told that the political leader has arrived, so I have to
Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready for the bright and the illustrious political leader of the United National Congress. Yeah! Wave your flag, wave your flag, wave your flag. Put up your flag, put up your flag. This is music time. Wave your flag. Yeah! Put up your flags. Welcome the brightest and the best, the political leader of the United National Congress. Let's get ready for fire. Yeah. Wave your flags. This is the brightest moment in politics on the big night. Big night. Yep. The big night in politics, ladies and gentlemen. The political leader of the United National Congress. Yes? Wave up the flags.
It's that one in a million, girl. And now with my loving arms around you, honey, I can stand up and face the world.
This is the moment you've been waiting for. Brightest future. And the lady of the moment. The brightest future and the lady of the moment. Toko Sangre Grande. Let's Yes, this is the political moment you've been waiting for. Toko Sangre Grande. Let's all welcome the political leader of the United National Congress, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, live in Toko Sangre Grande. Yes! The magic has arrived, and this is the politics of the woman. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the brightest moment in politics at the night for Toko Sangre Grande. And we welcome the political leader of the United National Congress, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Senior Counsel, and the next Prime Minister, Trinidad and Tobago, yeah? Woo. This is magic. Right here in Toko Sangre Grande. This is the Monday Night Forum in living color. Yeah.
We welcome to Sangre Grande here tonight a lady who has demonstrated greatness in governance. And we wish her all the best. And I say to you tonight, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, that we shall be working very, very hard to ensure that you become, after the general elections of 2020, the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Before our next Prime Minister entered, I was talking about the corruption of this cabinet, having assumed unto themselves the functions of the Central Tenders Board. And as someone was telling me, it is as if the PNM Corruption Manual, authored by Johnny O'Halloran and Francis Pravat, and fine-tuned by successive PNM administrations, is being followed to the letter by this Rowley PNM cabinet. They corrupt to the core. And I want to say to you tonight, my brothers and sisters, as I close now, that they will want to lecture to us about corruption, morality, as though they are holier than the Pope and Mother Teresa combined. I could have spoken to you about more tonight. The Sandals Project, Alwari Family Building, the Novo Technology contract. Time doesn't permit. We have to vote. You hear me, good? We have to ensure that they do not get a second term. So whether you swear on the Bible, whether you swear on the Quran, whether you swear on the Bhagavad Gita, I say to you here tonight, put aside your ego, put aside your differences. Let us hold hands. Next local government election, next general elections, and vote the UNC back into government in Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you. Have a good night.
The faster I will run. The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. And I'm a place sometimes this wonder what is mine. My light will
Live from the constituency of Toko, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nigel Trancoso.
Thank you, Chairman. Political leader, the Honorable Dr. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Senior Counsel, Dr. Bisesa, members of Parliament, senators, chairmen, councillors, constituents of Toko, Sangre, Grande, and other distinguished guests, members of the media, and the UNC family, I say good night. It is an absolute pleasure for me to be here tonight to address you. Tonight I feel privileged standing at my alma mater and in the hometown of the Trancoso family. So again, I say good night, Grande. To everyone in the audience, those watching on television, those listening on the radio, I want you to know that I am one of you. I was born homeless to a 15-year-old mother, and I grew up in a squatting area, and we had to tote water and bathe by the standpipe. I used latrine, and I lived in a board house. I was fortunate, and I thank God for putting the right people in my life who guided me. It so happened that I was successful at my CXC exams, and the choices of work available to me back then was to get one of those jobs in the services. So I became a police officer. I took that job very seriously. So all the crime fighting techniques, I knew them and I employed them. As a police officer, I soon realized that I could only do so much for my people from that institution. So I decided to become an attorney at law. It was not as easy as I make it sound here. You see, it required blood, sweat, and tears. The road to success, young people, is long, it is hard, and it's a lonely one. People who are with you today will leave. They won't understand, but I urge you to persevere. Remain focused. I tell you, hard work rewards dividends. So don't let anyone tell you you can't. As I said, I was born on the streets to a single mother. I grew up in an environment where education was not seen as important. I remember while growing up, I was saying how much I valued education, and my friends laughed at me.
They told me you can't take education to the bank or to the supermarket. Listen, all sorts of things will be thrown at you. I remember my dad losing his jobs when I was in secondary school, right here, and being mortified at the prospects of not finishing school. So even though times are hard, remember hope comes, and this time it comes riding in with the United National Congress. So now I'm an attorney, and sometimes I ply my trade right here at the Sangre Grande Magistrate Court. So I understand the problems in the court system right here in Sangre Grande. Further help my people, I became heavily involved in politics, and I chose the UNC because of its mandate and because of its philosophy. I know that this is the party to take the country in the future, and our leader has a heart for the people. So when I say I am one of you, I am truly one of you. I can identify with the lowest straight through to the highest, and I understand crimes from all sides. And today, I want to say that we live in perilous times. I know of families in Sealots and George Street, Port of Spain, that are being chased out of their homes by gangs, and they have no one to stand up with them. For half of a century, the PNM government has been supported by these people, and the PNM government has turned their backs on them. How much more opportunities must they give this PNM government? Well, tonight I say enough is enough. To my brothers and sisters in East Port of Spain, I invite you to become part of the United National Congress One Corridor movement. We welcome you with open arms. In the UNC, we love everybody. We are only against Rowley and his elitist group who have taken your votes and turned their backs on you. So Port of Spain East, I want you to show me your finger. Vote for your best interest. Vote for the UNC. Under the PNM, crime is up. All the PNM statistics trending in the wrong direction. Job creation down and crime is up. People are frustrated. People are fed up. People are desperate. And then on top of it, our young people are being profiled and targeted as pests. I know, I was a police officer. Look at what happened in Carenage 3 weeks ago. It could have happened to any one of us. A 14-year-old teenager, a promise never fulfilled, a grieving, confused mother who saw the video of the funeral of Naomi Nelson. The mother's heart was ripped out of her soul as she lowered that coffin into the grave. You see, collateral damage is always a byproduct of any war, and little Naomi Nelson was a byproduct of this senseless war. Time and time again I say, we don't fight crime. Crime is a problem, we solve problems, therefore we solve crime. So I guarantee you, if another approach was taken to treat against the crime problem that young teenager from Carenage and so many of our loved ones may very well still be with us here today. Naomi didn't have to be collateral damage. and our future prospect is lost. She could have been a police, she could have been a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer. We will never know. Why did she have to die? This war needs to stop. We need crime to be treated professionally. The government has to provide the police with the appropriate tools so they could serve the people more effectively. You see, under the PNM, the entire system has failed and needs renewed life. And if they want a war, this is what it is they should use in their war. Jobs, modern education systems, better social programs, proper health care, appropriate legislation, strong institutions, and a better judicial system. This is what our political leader used during the 2010-2015 regime, and that is why tonight I stand with Dr. Kamala Prasad-Bissessa. Last week, it was reported that 8 young black men escaped from prison. The prison system is totally oppressive for the prisoners and the prison officers themselves. This thing, not easy. When someone is arrested in this country for a capital matter, 10 years of their life is already gone. So our sons, our daughters, our brothers, our sisters, aunts, mothers, uncles, and fathers, just in jail, waiting for a decision from the court. And for the other side, the side of the families of the victims, they themselves are not sure what is the outcome. In a society that is developing, we don't have enough magistrates. State prosecutors and the justice system is slow. I went to court for a 14-year-old, and just to get a decision, it has taken 6 months for this child to get a state prosecutor to actually come to court to even start the matter in this modern time. Sometimes I ask myself, does this government even care that so many of us are killed, whether it be by bandits, businessmen, police officers in the hospitals or on the nation roads? Do they even have a value on our lives? It feels as though the walls are crumbling on us together as a people. But we must rise. Trinidad and Tobago, rise. Arise, my people. Arise together. Let not creed, race, culture, or class divide us. We have to do this together. How many of us are barely clinging on to life? But don't die now. No, you can't die now. Dig deep and find that strength and go early to that polling booth on the morning of election and vote for the United National Congress. I urge you to vote for life, to vote for change, vote for a leader that has the heart of compassion. Vote for the United National Congress. I thank you.
I will run. The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. And now my place and time
constituency of Toko Sangre Grande, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lorne Diaz.
The Honorable Police Leader, Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Dr. Bisesa, fellow presenters, members of parliament, senators, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. A very good evening to you all. I would like to begin by extending my sincerest thanks and appreciation to Mrs. Bisesa for her warmth and generosity in allowing me the opportunity to address you this evening. My name is Lorne Diaz, a qualified professional who fell prey to the heartless, spiteful, oppressive, Rowley-led PNM regime. Today, what you see happening all across Trinidad and Tobago is demotivating. And the truth is, I am fed up of seeing institutions being destroyed. I am fed up of seeing families falling further and further behind as they struggle to survive in this period of massive discord. There is just a blatant disrespect and disdain, lack of care and concern for the working class, for poor people, and for our children. And I know, just like me, you must be looking on, just absolutely disgusted by this PNM approach to governance. How the PNM acts as politicians and how the PNM treats our citizens. We, especially our children, deserve to be inspired by our representative. Mrs. Bisesa, to me, signifies representation that is fearless, principled, caring, with a genuine desire to protect the rights of all law-abiding citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Mrs. Bisesa's concern for the youth, the poor, and the elderly cannot be matched. In just 5 years, she was able to increase the minimum wage from $9 to $15 per hour, build 83 new primary schools and 83 early childhood centers, give laptops to all secondary school children, create the Children's Life Fund to ensure that children living with life-threatening medical conditions can access funding and medical care, deliver the long-denied Scarborough General Hospital, and develop the 240-bed San Fernando Teaching Hospital, increase the senior pension from $1,950 in 2010 to $3,500 in 2014. She also removed VAT from over 7,000 food items. Just a few weeks ago, Mrs. Bisesa moved 63 amendments to the Civil Asset Recovery and Management and Unexplained Wealth Bill single-handedly in one day. That is true representation. But the PNM has been in government for 49 out of 59 years. 49 years in government. And what does Lavantil, Port of Spain, Diego Martin, San Fernando, Arima have to show for it? I believe if something doesn't serve you, get rid of it. It's time It's time to get rid of the PNM. It's time to get them out. We deserve better. Our children deserve better. Our children deserve better. The decisions the PNM are making are the difficulties you and I are facing right now and will continue to face tomorrow. They like to say PNM till we dead. Well, let me tell you, if they get another 5 years, we will really die. They like to say we red and ready. Red and ready for what? Red and ready to do what? And red and ready for whom? Let me tell you, they're red and ready to help rich people get richer. They're red and ready to make us poor, hard-working, law-abiding citizens suffer and get poorer. They're red and ready to take our jobs, our homes, our dignity. They're red and ready to leave us behind while they live their best lives. Today, I say to you, especially the youth of Trinidad and Tobago, the voices, the issues facing our country demand attention. Our attention, our input, our ability to get involved, no to change, no. This very moment in time is filled with greater opportunity than ever before. This is what makes us so important. I encourage all young people to take full advantage of this opportunity to create change. Talk to your friends, families, get involved. Keep your eyes, ears, and hearts open and speak out for what you think is right. I am here today to say that we cannot continue to play by the rules of this toxic environment created by the PNM. There have been countless citizens, every walk of life, who have peacefully stood in front of the Parliament begging for the PNM to please hear their cries for assistance. Answer this question. Has the PNM done anything? Nationwide hardship just continues to rise. Brothers and sisters, I'm not about to beg the PNM government to care for our future. The PNM has ignored us for 49 years, and the PNM will continue to ignore us. They have shown us who they are, and I believe them. So we will not ask them for anything. Instead, I ask you to start treating this as a crisis. I ask you to realize that the PNM has failed us. I ask you to choose your family's future. I ask you that when the time comes, vote PNM out. Ladies and gentlemen, as I stand here before you today, I'm inspired and hopeful. My hope for our future is success, because you know why better is always possible. I am proud to reaffirm my support for Mrs. Bisessa and what she and her party represents. Mrs. I thank you for being the compassionate, fearless leader that you are, and I stand with you. Thank you.
All I require for life God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life God what He said I am, where He said I know who I am, who God said I am. I'm working miracles, I live a life for favor, for I know who I am.
to the Honorable Leader of the UNC, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, Members of Parliament, Senators, good evening to the great people of Tokos, Sangre Grande, and environs. This evening, I take this opportunity to give honor to God, our Heavenly Father, Creator of all things, and to the leader of the UNC, family, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar. And we can do better than that. Approximately 8 years ago, we made an assignation with destiny when we selected Mrs. Persad-Bissessar as our Prime Minister. And now we find it difficult to continue to sit back and accept mediocrity, stagnancy, inefficiencies, inadequacy, impotence, just to name a few. To disguise their agenda of hate and spite, they create distractions based on falsehood and arrogance, which is found to be barren of any moral value. In the midst of ongoing economic gloom, where prices continue to increase, jobs continue to decrease, breadwinners are out of jobs and cannot provide for their families. All this while, some rest comfortably after consuming 5-course meals. When placed in a position to serve, it is not well